Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 20th instalment of Dazza's War on Everything. I'd like to take this opportunity to continue to be a little ray of sunshine in your life and say, you are going to die. Yes, people, sad but true, it's going to happen someday. We are mere mortals after all. Well, all except for Chuck Norris, of course. One of the ever-pressing questions about death is, what do we do with that meat suit that we've left behind? Do we want it buried, burned, have our brains removed and put in a pickle jar? But it's not just the will recipients who'll stand to benefit from you meeting your maker. In fact, for some professionals, their lives depend on it. First and foremost is the funeral director, who carries out our orders as to how to dispose of our bodies. The British charity group Age Concern promotes the interests of Britain's senior citizens, and has recently surveyed the most popular additional requests that Britons make for their empty meat suits, producing a list of the top 8. The 8th most popular request was that they be buried with their life savings, or in the case of these monetary misers, should that be now appropriate to call it death savings? In number 7 was the request to have their false teeth left in. I mean, hey, nobody wants to spend their afterlife eating soup and yoghurt. Being buried in the garden at home was the 6th most popular request, though not without issues from town planners or subsequent buyers of the property. The 5th most popular request was to be cremated stark naked. After all, it gets very hot in those kilns, and honestly, who wants to ruin a nice suit or dress? In number 4 was a rather interesting request that a mirror or glass surface be held over the face, so if they're actually alive, the condensation of their breath would be obvious on the mirror. Establishing general certainty of their death prior to burial came in number 3. But for those who wanted to be extra sure, the 2nd most popular request was to be buried with a mobile phone, just in case they woke up and needed an emergency excavation. The top choice amongst the dead, however, was a request to be buried with their beloved family pets. However, this is a request that will only be honoured if the pet too is dead. This makes sense because getting a live cat, dog or parrot into a coffin would be no easy feat. A new player in the game of cashing in on the dead comes from Canada, where Honour Industries have worked out how to turn human ashes into a pencil for the purpose of drawing memorial portraits of the deceased. While only a tablespoon of human ash is used, the process is not cheap, with costs starting at over $5,000. So if artists are drawing our portraits with our ash, then it won't be long before writers could be penning our autobiographies in our blood. In some places of the world, though, death has been more commonplace than others, so for Iraqis, grave digging has become a very lucrative profession. The world's largest cemetery is in the Shiite city of Najaf, which had 6,500 cars with bodies and coffins lashed to the roof, arriving every month at the peak of the conflict. But with a relative lull in Iraqi violence, only 4,000 cars are coming through funeral gates each month, which means less work and less money for Najaf's army of gravediggers. Despite all the good work of funeral directors and support staff, though, it doesn't always go to plan. Unlike their American counterparts, though, Iraqis are prohibited by their Islamic faith from having pet dogs, which is certainly handy in preventing these sorts of accidents.
During a memorial service, everyone comes to pay their respects. But incredibly, one of the mourners brings a dog to the funeral.
So people, how would you have your family send you off? Would you pop any quirky surprises into your funeral, or is it a pointless exercise since you won't be there to enjoy the show anyway? Either way, you are now 5 minutes closer to death than you were at the start of the vlog, so comment quickly and get back to your lives. Take care now.